Welcome to the Calm Mom Podcast, the show for ambitious women ready to get off the hot mess express. I know you've got a lot going on. You work so hard, you're raising an incredible family, and sometimes it can be overwhelming. I'm your host, Michelle Grosser. I'm a certified master life coach, attorney, wife, and mom. And years ago, I was right where you are. I was running a busy law practice while raising a family, and I was on the fast track to burnout. I thought I just needed to be more organized or have better routines, but it was learning how to heal and regulate my nervous system that expanded my capacity to gracefully hold more of this big, beautiful life. You too are worthy of an extraordinary life in and beyond motherhood. Learning to be a calm, anchoring presence in your home and at work is going to be your superpower. If you're here to do the inner work that brings a sense of calm amidst the chaos, I'm here to join you on that journey. Each time you press play, your growth continues. So let's get at it. What's up, you guys? It's Michelle Grosser here. You are listening to the Calm Mom Podcast. So good to be with you today. Hope your day is going well, whether it's just starting or winding down. I'm believing there was a whole lot of good in it. I am in the process of actually training for my first half marathon. My sister is how many months now? Like 6 months postpartum ish. And she sent me a text the other day just checking in. She's like, I decided to sign up for the Brooklyn half marathon. And I was like, I've never run a half marathon. I've never been much of a runner at all. Like even playing sports growing up, like I played a ton of sports. But I played a lot of soccer. I was the goalkeeper. So I just like didn't do a ton of running. And then I started running during the pandemic and I loved it, but I've never been like a fast runner, which I guess makes sense. I'm like 6 feet tall, not built for speed. However, I decided to ask her if she wanted a running partner and a training partner. And she so graciously invited me to join her. So I have been running my butt all over Houston, which has been so fun because it's been such a cool way to explore my new city. And I found all of these really great running trails like right through the city. Like I can see the skyline, but it still feels like I'm in the woods, which is so good for my soul. So that's been really fun. But I guess as you guys are listening to this in real time when it drops, I'm going to be like 10 days from running. Not only am I running it, but then it's going to be in New York in the middle of November. So that's going to be a whole new thing for me too, especially coming from Miami. And then running in the cold is going to feel so good. So I'm excited for it. And I say that all to say, one, it's so good to have something that's different and challenging ourselves. And that's just ours, right? I'm not training for a half marathon with or for my kids or my husband or for work or getting paid for it or anything. It's just for me. And it's such a good time for me to be outside and with my thoughts and moving my body. And then I just know that working towards something is so good. And once I cross that finish line, y'all, I know I'm going to be so proud of myself. So if you have been feeling a little out of sorts, maybe that's a call to find your own little challenge and sign up for it, and something that makes you a little nervous, because let me tell y'all, running 13.1 miles makes me nervous, but I know I can do it. Okay, we're going to talk about burnout today. It's actually a good segue because a lot of times we get up and we get into a space of burnout because we're not doing enough of these things that really like light us up and excite us and are fun goals to be chasing after. So let's talk about why I think this episode matters so much. Man, so many of us, I know you because I am you. And so many of us are just so used to living with stress. We're so used to just being tired, waking up tired, going to bed tired, being tired at 2 p.m., that it's just become normal, right? I know for years I was like, well, that's just like being a working mom. That's just because I've got a lot going on. It's because I've got young kids. It's because I'm running a law firm. It's because I'm pastoring a church. It's because like whatever it is, right? But it's not true. And I am walking, talking, living proof of that because I'm doing more now than I have been in other seasons, but I'm way more rested because I've learned how to set better boundaries and how to keep burnout at bay, regulating my nervous system and making space for prioritizing rest and all of those beautiful things we talk about. But so many of us are just so used to living with stress and exhaustion that we don't recognize those early warning signs of burnout until we're in too deep, right? Burnout doesn't happen overnight. It's this slow drip. It's this slippery slope of compromised boundaries and people pleasing and perfectionism and like all of these other things. And then one day we're like, oh my gosh, I feel awful. I'm just like a shell. I feel like a shell of myself, right? I'm just snappy and tired and all these things. Like, this isn't me. This isn't the vibrant, excited, passionate, fun, playful me that I remember being once, right? So today what I want to do is I want to dive into what burnout actually is. And I want to talk a little bit about how it affects your body, because you guys know that's where we always start here, right? It starts in the body. And then I want to give you 4 different little red flags, different warning signs to kind of watch out for, because if you're starting to notice any of these 4 things or all of these 4 things, I want to give you some practical handles for what to start to do about these warning signs that you're headed for burnout. Okay, so let's start with, what is burnout? How is burnout different than being tired? I know for a while I was like, am I tired or am I burnt out? Like, I've been tired for weeks, years maybe, right? That's got to be burnout. So let's talk about it. I think by definition, burnout is probably something like chronic physical and emotional exhaustion caused by chronic stress, right? Being exposed to prolonged stress. It's not just being tired. It's not just like, I'm tired because I didn't sleep well last night. It's not like I'm tired and I have a good night's rest and then I wake up feeling good the next day. It's not even like having a rough week. It's a state of depletion. It's a state of depletion. You just feel emotionally, physically, and mentally drained, right? And I think the kicker is that when you're in a state of burnout, and I'll speak for myself when I was there and a lot of my clients that I work with, you're in this mental, emotional, and physical, like being physically drained, the state of being drained. And you feel like nothing you do really helps you to recover. Like you have no capacity to recover. Because here's the thing, stressful seasons of life are normal, right? We all go through these periods of higher demand, but burnout is when that stress becomes chronic over time. Like it's sustained over time and there's no breaks in there. Instead of it being like these sprints of stress, which is what I allow myself to experience these days, no more stress marathons, right? I have to build in, I have to be intentional about building in opportunities for my body and my mind and my soul and my spirit to rest and recover. Tiredness, on the other hand, is just this temporary, like often resolves with rest, but burnout is that long-term issue where I don't care how much quote unquote rest you get, it doesn't seem to help, right? You sleep 8 hours, you wake up tired, you take a vacation, you still feel depleted, right? You come back and you're like, man, I need a vacation from my vacation. It's like, that's heartbreaking. That's no way to live. Burnout makes it feel like no amount of rest is going to fill us back up, right? Our emotions, our physical health, our ability to connect with others, all of it. So just kind of check in with yourself right now and just take like an inventory. Like, do I think that this is just, I'm tired? Like, is that what we're dealing with here? Or does this feel like burnout? Have I been under an inordinate amount of stress for a long period of time? Like, does it feel like I've been living with chronic stress? Have I been exhausted? And no matter how much I sleep or how many 3-day weekends come my way or whatever it is, I feel like I just can't catch up on rest and I'm still tired, right? Recognizing that you need more than just a mental health day or a day off or a 3-day vacation or whatever it is, right? Okay, so I think that's important. Let's start there with that little checkpoint. Now, let's talk about what happens in our body when we're experiencing burnout. Because as you guys know, there's a physiological response to stress, right? We talk about this all the time. When our body perceives something stressful, our nervous system is like, whoa, I don't think that's great for us, right? That has the potential to go bad. Maybe we're going to be embarrassed. Maybe we're going to be harmed. Maybe we're going to be rejected, like whatever it is. it doesn't just end there. It actually drives a response in our body. So our brain is like, whoa, let's jump into fight or flight, freeze or fawn so we can respond to this, right? Let's release all of these stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline so we can run or we can fight or whatever our body has to do. That state of chronic stress, you guys, if you've been in a state of stress for a long time, your body gets stuck in that mode. Your body like gets frozen in that sympathetic dominance. Your nervous system is constantly in fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. And when that happens for too long, it starts to take a toll on your body. And this is why we start to notice a lot of those mental symptoms, those emotional symptoms, those physical symptoms. That cortisol and adrenaline, those guys are just flooding your system, right? They remain elevated, and that can lead to a whole host of issues. Inflammation, it weakens your immune system. It causes digestive issues, right? Where are all my friends with like the IBS and the gut issues and the autoimmune conditions and like all the issues with inflammation, skin issues, hair issues, muscle tension. Burnout also affects our brain. Our prefrontal cortex, that part of our brain that's like so important for us to show up as the people we want to show up as, right? All of our executive functioning skills, that prefrontal cortex is impaired when we're stuck in fight or flight. So we're not making the best decisions, right? We have a really hard time focusing. And over time, that chronic stress also leads to hormonal imbalances. We're not sleeping well. It can lead to like heart issues. Our body can't return to a baseline state of calm. And then what happens, I think, is that we start to feel disconnected. Like, I don't know about you guys, but when I'm feeling burnt out, I just start to kind of withdraw. One, because everything feels overwhelming, right? Even like hanging out with my friends, going out to dinner, that just sounds like, oh, one extra thing I have to do or think about, or it feels like it's going to take a ton of energy. And I just feel kind of blah. Like I'm just like emotionally kind of numb. I just feel disconnected. And it's because my nervous system is depleted, right? And if you're feeling that way too, or you felt that way, constantly in this survival mode, it leaves barely any room, you guys, for that emotional connection or that joy that's so important to our health. So that's the takeaway here. Chronic stress that you're under, it doesn't just burn you out mentally, but it has an impact on your entire body, right? There's a physiological response, and that response in and of itself, it's like what came first, the chicken or the egg, right? That response makes it harder to recover from stress, to process stress, to alchemize stress, and to find our calm. Let's go through these 4 warning signs I want to talk to you guys about. So if you're experiencing any of these, it's just a little heads up that you're headed for burnout. I think it's a gift because then, awareness precedes choice. Once you have this new awareness, you can make a choice to do something about it. So as I go through these 4, we'll just take a minute, just reflect. Reflect on how this might resonate. Reflect on if the behaviors or the mindsets or the things I talk about are manifesting in your own life. So warning sign number 1 that you're headed for burnout, I alluded to it earlier, is that everything feels overwhelming. Like even the smallest things feel overwhelming. Sitting down to answer emails, responding to texts, folding the laundry, right? Making dinner. All of a sudden that feels like this enormous burden. I remember this one moment when I was really burnt out. That was a red flag for me. My daughter was invited to a birthday party, and it was like, I don't know, Wednesday or Thursday, and the party was Saturday. And I remember just having this like overwhelm and panic in my body to have to like go, I don't know where, Target or Walmart or something, to like get a gift to bring to this birthday party. I could have gone on Amazon. It would have probably arrived in time. But like that is a minor thing that I can handle with my eyes closed, right? I can delegate it. I can do it myself. I would probably do it online. It'll take less than 30 seconds. When I was in a deep state of burnout, that felt like a lot. That felt overwhelming to me. I was at the edge of my capacity. I was probably beyond my capacity, and I had no space to handle anything else, right? My nervous system was maxed out. And that's what happens when we're burned out. Our capacity to handle new stressors, gonzo. It's just depleted. So even some of these smaller things feel like really big mountains for us, right? And then we kind of feel the shame and the guilt around it because we know logically, like, it's not that big of a deal, right? Like your partner's looking at you is like, whoa, what's going on? That's not a big deal. Like, just handle it. And you're like, I want to, but it feels like a really big deal right now. I don't know if you guys have ever felt like that, but I certainly did when I was overwhelmed and when I was in a state of burnout. And it's because that chronic stress was keeping my nervous system in this state of constant activation. So it was really hard to prioritize or handle like even the smallest things. So if this is landing for you or resonating for you, get curious. Maybe it's a red flag that it's a warning sign that you're headed for burnout. The second warning sign is procrastination. Procrastination. Y'all know, I don't have to like explain what that looks like. It's the putting off, right? It's even the stuff that you know you've got to get done. Again, kind of coming back to overwhelm. It's too much. I'm just not going to do it right now, right? I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it later. I know I'll have more energy in the morning and I'll do it then. Engaging in all of these different distractions, even if the distractions are productive, right? I don't want to sit down and do this project, so I'm going to go fold the laundry or load the dishwasher or, whatever it is. Mindlessly scrolling, right? Just avoiding the stuff that's got to get done. How is this related to burnout? One of the stress responses, we talk about them: fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. Procrastination, my friends, is often a freeze response. It's one of the body's ways of coping with chronic stress. So if you find that you tend to procrastinate, I want to encourage you, you're probably not lazy. You're probably not lacking motivation. You're probably not even lacking discipline. I would venture to guess that if you are a high achiever, an ambitious woman listening to this podcast, and you tend to procrastinate, it's because when you do so, your body is in a freeze response. Your body, your nervous system is too overwhelmed to engage. So it just is like, avoiding tasks altogether. Nervous system is stuck in freeze mode. Your brain can't engage. It's maxed out. You're too depleted to handle the task at hand. So then those avoidance behaviors kick in. So the next time that you notice yourself procrastinating, or if you have labeled yourself a procrastinator, PSA, stop speaking that over your life. You are not a procrastinator. If you notice that you tend to get into this pattern, or you notice, whoa, I feel this like urge to procrastinate, get curious, right? Whoa, what's going on here? Am I feeling overwhelmed by something? Am I actually like in this freeze response where I feel like my body just wants to do nothing? Everything feels overwhelmed. So I'm just going to sit here and zone out and watch Netflix or scroll social media or Pinterest or, whatever else that we do when we procrastinate. Get curious. So that's the second one. The third warning sign that you, my friend, may be headed for burnout is that your self-care routine has gone by the wayside. Self-care is virtually non-existent. You just kind of stop doing the things that normally keep you grounded. Maybe you can think back to when you had like a really energy-giving, life-giving morning routine or evening routine, or when you used to make breakfast for yourself, or when you used to get a massage, or when you used to journal, or when you used to go out and have, coffee with your girlfriends once a month, or, just like the things that make us feel like human beings. Exercise, right? Eating well, getting enough sleep, basic hygiene. When those things start to like trickle out of your normal day to day, that, my friends, may be a red flag that you're on a path to burnout. Because when burnout hits, that feels like it just doesn't feel as important, right? Self-care kind of feels like a big to-do. It kind of feels impossible. You don't have the energy. You don't have the motivation to take care of yourself. You're just so tired, right? Coming back to that idea of your body being depleted. Burnout depletes the nervous system, makes it hard to prioritize yourself, hard to prioritize self-care. You're kind of stuck in that state of survival. So the things like exercise or meal prep that are so important feel like too much effort. So if you've been struggling to care for yourself, again, back to where we were just a few minutes ago, you're not lacking motivation. You're not lacking discipline. You're not lazy. It's that you may be on the track to burnout. And then number 4, the fourth warning sign that you might be headed for burnout is emotional exhaustion. And one of the ways that I like to describe this is this sense of feeling wired but tired. You guys have probably experienced this before. I know I certainly have. It's that feeling when you're like so exhausted, like you are beat, right? Like at the end of the day, you just kind of flop on the couch or you flop into bed, and then you just get so frustrated because you can't sleep. Like your body feels physically tired, but your mind is racing. You're thinking of all the things. Maybe your body feels restless and kind of agitated. If you can relate, this is a telltale sign that you're headed to burnout. You feel wired but tired. And again, it's because your body is stuck in that state of hyperarousal. So your body's beat. You're emotionally depleted. But you're still in survival mode. So it's like the gas pedal's being pushed, even though there's no gas in the tank. You feel both wired and tired all at the same time. Your body's been under chronic stress for too long. It can't really even differentiate between rest and work anymore. So your body's exhausted, but your mind and your nervous system are still in overdrive. So those are 4 signs that you might be headed for burnout. Almost everything feels overwhelming. You're procrastinating. Self-care is non-existent. And you just feel wired but tired. Now, let's talk about where we can start, right? I think a good place to start is start with your boundaries. Like, what are some areas in your life? Where are some places on your calendar that you can start to cross things off, decline, start to say no, like practice the art of declining things that just aren't aligned with your top priorities in this season, right? What are some things you can start to take off your plate for the sake of your health? And then go back to the basics, you guys. We talk about self-care, like choose maybe 1 to focus on this week. Sleep, movement, hydration, right? Nourishing your body. Like which of those 4 maybe could you really focus on prioritizing this sleep? Because my friend, self-care, especially like this, sleep, movement, hydration, nourishment, that's not a luxury, especially when you're burned out. It is a necessity to restore balance in your body. And then finally, I think this is a really good opportunity for you to get support, however that looks, right? Maybe you reach out and ask for help from your in-laws or your own parents or other family, right? That might be able to help you with the kids or with stuff around the house. Maybe it's time for you to, dust off the old Rolodex of babysitters and have someone come watch the kids so you can go out with your own friends or go out with your spouse and have a date night. Maybe it's getting support from a professional, right? Maybe it's seeking some guidance from a good coach or a therapy who has experience with burnout and with the nervous system and with somatic tools to bring regulation to your body so you can heal from burnout. However that looks, you guys, human connection is a powerful healing tool. So call your friends, call your grandma, call whoever you call to when you need to talk to somebody and be honest about where you're at, and that you feel better when you feel encouraged, right? When you hang up the phone, especially when you're dealing with burnout, you guys don't isolate. And I talked about it a little bit last week, but we are actually in the process here at the Calm Mom of completely revamping our group coaching program to heal from burnout. I'm so excited about it. It's coming back more robust. We've added additional resources. We've added an eliminating overwhelm workshop, which I'm going to be teaching live inside of the program. We've brought in some experts to talk about hormones and your thyroid and productivity and work-life balance and all of these different things that are so important. And then I'm putting together this really awesome playlist library of all these different nervous system regulating resources. There's going to be meditations in there, body scans, breath work, different somatic tools that are going to be super powerful if you're interested in learning how to get your body out of fight or flight so you can regulate, heal from burnout, restore your energy, and step into peace and presence that's available for you. So if you're interested, if you haven't yet listened to my Heal Your Burnout private podcast, that's absolutely free. go check that out. There's a link in the show notes, or you can go to michellegrosser.com/burnout. There's more information there to help you gauge what step of burnout you're in. And then I walk you through a 6-step framework to heal burnout. And then if you're wanting to join us in the next cohort of our burnout recovery group program, that's going to start at the beginning of 2025. So keep your antennas queued for that. More information is going to be coming about that program. So if you want to participate in the next cohort, I think that would be an awesome next step for you to heal your burnout and really take accountability for how you are feeling and showing up. All right. Well, thanks for listening today. I'm really believing that this episode helped you recognize some of the potential warning signs of burnout so you can start to take small, actionable steps towards your healing, towards your recovery now before you are in full blown burnout. I'd love to know what you thought of this episode. I'd love to know what you learned, what you started to put into practice, what resonated. You can hit me up on Instagram at It's Michelle Grosser. Send me an email, hello@michellegrosser.com. And again, like always, if you have learned anything from this episode or this podcast, I would love it if you could leave the show a 5-star rating or a short review. Maybe share it with a friend, share it with a family member, someone else that you think might resonate and benefit from it. Y'all are the best. I love you guys so much. I'll talk to you soon.
If you love Mommy's Podcast, leave a review.
If you enjoyed this episode, it would be so awesome if you could take a moment to subscribe and rate the podcast. And if you have just a few more seconds to leave a quick review, they really help to get this podcast out to other moms like you. I read every last review, and trust me, when it's late at night or early in the morning before my kids get up and I'm working on bringing you all of this content, your reviews are what keep me going. Leaving a review is truly the best way you can thank me. And of course, DM me on Instagram. I love to hear from you. Thanks for listening to another episode. Head over to the show notes for this episode and all past episodes at michellegrosser.com, where you'll find free resources and more ways to connect with me. If you love the show, share it with a friend. Thanks again for tuning in. We'll see you next time.